Last year, Geelong made the grand final and I was incredibly excited about this. Not because I support Geelong, and not even that I'm an AFL supporter at all. It's just that my best friend Marilyn and her husband Pete had invited my husband and I over to celebrate. So we were going to go and have a few drinks, kick back and have some fun. And I was really looking forward to it because November the year before I had opened my first business. So I'd opened my personal training studio and I'd been working long hours and I was really looking forward to just kicking back, having a few drinks and relaxing. So I was really looking forward to it. It was Saturday and I finished work about midday. I went home and I got a phone call from the doctors to come in. The day was getting even better, wow. I'd been having a lot of trouble with my neck and my shoulders and I'd been in a lot of pain. And so I had been waiting on results. I'd been going to see a chiropractor for about 6 months and the pain relief was temporary, not permanent. So I was really looking forward to getting these results so that I could get a final fix. Yeah. So I went into the doctor's and he took me into his office and he brought the physiotherapist in with him and we sat down. He put the MRI up on the screen and he said to me, "There's no easy way to tell you this. It's a tumour and you have an unstable neck. You could be paralysed at any moment. We need to get you to Sydney to have an operation. The operation would mean removing the vertebrae, putting you back together." And I'm thinking, great. Really? And I said to him, "No, it can't be a tumour. I haven't got a lifestyle that would support this. What else could it be?" And he said to me, "It can't be anything else. It can only be a tumour." He said, "Otherwise, it could be massive osteoporosis. However, as I've been involved in the fitness industry and being strong with weight training, there is no way it could be massive osteoporosis." So I said to him, "How can this be? I was running up and down hills last week and only yesterday I was doing burpees." So what he said to me was, "Just because you haven't been paralysed before doesn't mean you can't be paralysed now. We have to get you to stop all activity. Tumours are secondary, therefore we need to look for the primary." Hello, can you hear me now? So you're with me, we've got the tumour and we're going looking for the primary. Thank you. So I had to come back on Monday and start some testing. And as soon as possible, I was to be flown to Sydney to have the operation. And with that, they let me go home. I don't remember how I got to my car. I don't remember feeling my legs as I walked out of there. My mind was going 100 miles an hour. What do I do with this? How do I deal with this? I got in the car and I drove home. I don't know how I got home. No idea how I got home. And when I got home, I called my husband outside and I said to him the news. And he immediately said to me, "I will fix it." You see, my husband is a psychic healer and he was definitely going to fix it. Now me, I'm a black and white thinker. I need to see testimonials. I need to see the reports that say you can fix this. I need to know everything about this. But I've been with my husband some time and I just really trusted him. I just wanted to trust him. So we talked about it and we decided that we would still go to the grand final celebrations or go to the game, watch the game with my friend, and we'd forget about it. We'd just go kick back and have fun. Our 11-year-old daughter was going to sleep over a friend's house, so it was all sorted. We were going to go and have fun. Bad idea. We got there and we weren't going to say anything to anybody and we watched the game and Geelong were kicking goals. Every time they kicked a goal, Ivan and I looked like we were on the losing team. We're trying really hard to get into it, to forget about what was happening, just to enjoy the moment. But as they kicked more and more goals, I was feeling incredibly sad. I just kept thinking all the what ifs. Well, Geelong won the grand final last year. Celebrations, balloons, champagne, tears. So, of course, I explained to my friends what was happening, and they were full of positive information about people that they knew that had this operation and were living a normal life. Because you can imagine a personal trainer with a whole vertebrae removed and bolted back together, how your movement would be restricted and how that might impact on what I would do as a personal trainer. Hit the floor, do 50. I'll just watch. So Ivan and I left our friends full of their positive ideas, feeling like we'd really put a damper on their game, and went home to be by ourselves. I think we wrapped ourselves around each other for as long as we could because I couldn't sleep. I was up all night on the computer researching. And when you get on the computer and research cancer and tumours, there's not a lot of positive information. So I didn't sleep all night, and I don't believe my husband Ivan slept all night either. I just kept getting up. I kept searching. I kept thinking I could find something really positive. There wasn't a great deal because of the size of this. It took up the whole vertebrae. So by then it was pretty advanced. So for tumours and cancers, it's really good to get them pretty early. Monday was the first series of tests. And when they do tests for cancer, they don't do one test and give you results in a couple of days. You're given a test on each little part of your body and you wait 2 to 5 days, if not longer, for the results. I got to the stage where I was starting to be too scared to ring up the results. So we had the blood tests on the Monday. And on Wednesday morning, a visiting neurosurgeon had flown in. They come in all the time. He didn't come in just for me, sadly. And they squeezed us in at 6 o'clock in the morning. So Ivan and I were in at 6 o'clock in the morning and walked into his office, sat down. He put it up on the screen, looked at it for 2 seconds, pulled it down and said, yes, 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 you need this operation. We need to get you to Sydney as soon as possible. And talked about the operation and said, do you have any questions? I said, yes, I have questions. I've researched this. I research everything. And all the research that I had done had said most people who had this operation were in pain more after the operation than they were before the operation. Now, his response to me was, the operation's the least of your problems. You're going to have test after test after test and get used to it because there's going to be more tests. So, okay. And he said, have you got children? Yes. With that, he passed me his business card. It's my advice that you tell them straight away. He got up and walked us to the door. He took out his hand and he shook my husband's hand and said, I wish I'd met you in better circumstances. We went out to the car and I was angry. I said to Ivan, there is no way we're telling Shannon. Shannon's only 11. And I said, I'm sick of people looking at me like I'm already gone. They have decided that this is going to happen. So I went home and I rang the doctors that we were at and I said, you all stop looking at me like I'm going to die. I don't believe you. And you start those tests for the cancer, and until you tell me that I actually have this, I don't believe you. You've got to stop looking at me like I'm dying. I went out and I bought every book I could find on positive results in regards to cancers and tumours. Ivan and I would only watch the Comedy Channel. We weren't going to watch anything else. And I stopped exercising because I was going to be paralysed at any moment. So I was allowed to walk the beach and I was allowed to ride a bike. And one of the most beautiful things was that I would walk the beach every evening with my eldest daughter, Marie, and we bonded in a way, that we hadn't bonded in a long time, and it was beautiful. And Marie was an incredible rock to me because she kept saying to me, Mum, we're lucky. You're going to be okay. Kind of a big deal for your own daughter. I never told Shannon until recently. And the other gift in this, if you can imagine a personal trainer, I would get up at 5 o'clock for more than 10 years every morning, have my breakfast, race off to the gym, be training people at 6 o'clock in the morning. After I stopped working, I was getting up at 7 o'clock, was making a cup of coffee, and I was flopping on the couch, turning the TV on, thinking, hey, this is kind of nice. I could get used to this. So it was really pleasant. So positive books, comedy channels. I have to admit a little bit, sometimes I would get up in the morning and go for a walk on the beach with my dog, playing Adele all the way to the beach. Most of the time full of positivity. My husband was healing me every night and I was believing everything that he said. I found a Buddhist monk in Bayview and he went about opening my chakras. I was doing everything I could. I was staying. I wasn't going anywhere. The cancer tests were coming back bit by bit negative. Celebrating with each and every one. However, you just don't know. So through the day I would sit on my youngest daughter's bed and I would pray that I could be here for both my girls to get married. I wanted to be here to be a grandmother. I wanted to grow old with my husband. Tests were coming back and I'd insisted after the last neurosurgeon that I wanted to get a second and third opinion. I saw another neurosurgeon here in Darwin and he was giving me quite inconclusive news. Somebody recommended a neurosurgeon in Brisbane, so I went to Brisbane to this guy who was highly recommended. But to go away, I needed to leave Shannon, our 11-year-old daughter, with somebody. So I had to go and ask, Shannon, if we went away, who would you like to stay with? Lara. I want to stay with Lara. So I went and asked Sarah Penny if she would look after my daughter, and I had to tell her my news. So my problem became her problem, and that whole family opened up their heart to us. They didn't know us. Shannon had met her friend Lara at school. Another gift with these people who are willing to give you everything that they have to give you to help you out. I had people in the fitness industry raising money to help me pay my medical fees. I had pensioners giving up their pension to help me pay for my medical bills. The love that I was surrounded with was incredible. Each and every day I was given a new gift, a gift of love from everybody. It was absolutely amazing. So Ivan and I went off to Brisbane to the neurosurgeon who looked at all the reports that we had. This neurosurgeon wasn't going to give me any advice. He said, I need all the information before we make any decision about what it is. But he did say to me, I will get you up and running as soon as I can. So he was my man. I was staying with him. Him I liked. So he ran some more MRI tests, which showed that in the period of time from the first one to the second one, nothing had changed. So his advice to me was, don't go running, don't go doing burpees. You have an unstable neck, but it's not like you're going to be paralysed. Let's just look and see what happens. So I have to wait another 3 months for the next MRI. And in the meantime, they're still running tests for cancer, and all these tests for cancer are coming back negative. And I'm feeling on top of the world. But that's not a good thing. If you have a tumour and cancer without a primary, that is a death sentence that's even quicker than the other one. There's no way they know how to treat you. I was sent to an oncologist who recommended the vertebrae be removed, and that we talk about if we don't remove the vertebrae, we're going to start chemo and radiation. And I still don't believe that they've got it right. But because you're not really sure, I sold my business, because if I was going to be leaving, I didn't want to be leaving my husband with a bigger problem as well, to worry about the business. So in November, I sold the business and I got to getting used to sitting on the couch even more. I did walk the beach. My daughter and I kept walking the beach. My husband and I bonded like we'd never bonded in a while. We were like teenagers who fell in love all over again. He wanted to know where I was all the time, what I was doing. I had people taking me for morning tea, breakfast, coffees. I wasn't losing weight, no wonder. And I was looking better. I was feeling better. The doctors couldn't understand why this was happening because of the size of this white shadow on my vertebrae. So I went back to Brisbane. I think it was probably early December, and I had another MRI. As well as the MRI, I was sent to a nerve specialist, an eye specialist, and another specialist who I can't tell you. I've got so many tests. I've been to see so many people. It's all become a bit of a blur. And because we need to wait for the results of all of those tests and the MRI, it would be a little while before I got the results, so I went home. But by then I was really getting very clever at researching all of these words on these reports of what they were testing for, and that final MRI I knew by reading and clicking on my beautiful internet that they were looking right down to my spinal cord for cancer. And all I'm thinking while I was in that MRI for 1 hour, what are they going to do if they find it in my spinal cord? How are they going to treat it? So I went home, and with my positive attitude, and I'm not going to let this get to me, and I'm going to be fine, and waited for the results. I had been filled with so much love, as I said before, so the gift in all of this was the positivity that came out of all of the people who give you that love easily and readily, effortlessly. That was effortlessly, by the way. And I believe it was 2 days, I actually know it was 2 days before Christmas, the neurosurgeon rang me with his results. There's no cancer. There's no tumours. It has shrank. It was a demon bone. And I could feel my guts just fall out on the carpet. Been holding it all in there, keeping it all together. It just fell. And I was in tears and laughing and saying thank you. And his words were, just have a great Christmas. You still can't jump around. There's still an issue with your neck. However, go enjoy Christmas. So I got off the phone from him and I got on and I rang everybody in the whole world. I told everybody. And then I thought, how do I use this? What do I do with this now? Well, I'm here to ask you all to be your authentic self, to open your arms and share the love that you have within you all the time. You've got to be getting this. As you do, then you'll readily, easily share that love that sends ripples out like you wouldn't believe, as each and everybody here has already expressed. And because you do, then everybody feels the benefit of that love that you can give and that positivity and that energy that goes with it, which makes everything so much better, which means it's all beautiful. And everybody benefits all the time. But most of all, what I would like to ask you is if something isn't right, fix it. Thank you.